guys, welcome to a brand new video on my channel, Meg's Movies. If you are new to this channel, this is basically where I talk to you guys about my passion for movies. This goes from collections, hauls, reviews, and today's video, so let's get into it. Okay, so I've got another review for you guys, and today it is The Strangers Chapter 1. So I'm just going to start off by saying I have just watched all 3 films the past couple of days. And they were all first-time watches, so I went into this series completely blind. I didn't really know much about the series. I'd just seen like little snippets here and there. So I never really truly know what these films were about. But of course, we had the new one come out this year. I didn't realise how much of a gap there was between films, because the first one was 2008, then the next one was 2018, and then the next one was this year. So I thought, why not, seeing as I'm trying to watch more 2024 movies, why not give this one a go, especially since it's got Madeleine Pesch, I think is how you say her name, and I remember her from Riverdale, and I liked her character in that, so I thought, why not give this a go? Plus, it's a horror movie. So just to give you a very basic plot summary, we've got this couple who are travelling across country, and they stop in this random spot, and end up getting stuck. And then, of course, this is when the strangers turn up and start to torment them. I'm not going to say any more than that because I do try and stay as spoiler-free as possible. Plus, also, not going to lie, with this plot, it is kind of hard not to spoil it in a sense. It's very weird. But yeah, so The Strangers Chapter 1 is sort of a reboot in a sense. Because especially what happened in the second one, which I was quite surprised about. So yeah, this was more of a reboot situation, because of course at the moment it's all reboots, requels, sequels, it's all that. So like I said, I've watched all these films for the first time this month, and I'm going to be completely honest, with this film, I like how it's a different kind of horror in the sense of it's all about sort of like the stalking side of things. So it's just these 3 strangers that are literally just tormenting this couple. Kind of like the first movie in that sense. So I will say that is one of my little negatives, is that it does kind of feel like a repeat of the first one. So it's a little bit... It's one of those ones that I wish that they'd done something a little bit more different. So even though the plot felt the same, they did do little changes here and there, but it still felt the same. It didn't feel that much different. But I do like the fact it's all about the stalking, and it's not all about torture. It's just them stalking this couple. And I really like the couple in this. I thought they were quite sweet. I will say I did get more emotional in this one than I did the first couple. And I also say as well, some of the things that happen in this is quite shocking. Especially near the end. I weren't expecting that. I know this is part 1 of, I think it's like 3 movies. To which, to be honest, how they ended the first one, I can see why they're going to continue on with it. But at the same time, I don't know how they could go further with it. I mean, without spoiling it, it's hard to explain. But with this film, I will say I did enjoy it. I did get some entertainment out of it. There was a jump scare that actually got me at this one. But with this one, it's very middle of the road for me. And I think it's because, for me, I like my horror movies to be more like action heavy in a sense. Like, I like Scream, where there's like chases, like brutal attacks. This one was more about the thriller side of it, so it was making you think, well, what would you do in that situation when you're being bombarded by these people and you're only in one location? So with this one, I like the fact that it's different. It's in a woodsy area, it's in a cabin. So compared to the first one, which was just in this lovely home, I keep saying I do apologise. It's hard to talk about these films without spoiling it because, like I said, it is just basically these three strangers that just stalk these people. I will say the reasons for the stalking is quite simple, but funny at the same time, and you can kind of understand the reason in a sense. It's a very odd film. But not in odd as in like crazy odd, it's just one of those plots where it is... I will say I wish I hadn't watched the first one in a house on my own, because my mum and sister had gone away for the weekend, so I kind of watched the first one when it was just me in the house, so it did feel a little bit odd. But yeah, the acting was good as well. I did enjoy the acting. I like the fact that we don't really hear much from these strangers, so there's like no taunts, there's just these like sentences that come out of them. To be honest, I think they maybe talked like all of like 3 times maybe in this film. I would love to know who the strangers are though, because I will say another thing about this film is that they don't really show the strangers without their masks. So that's a unique kind of thing. I like the fact that we do not know who these people are. And you don't get any hints to it whatsoever. Like at the beginning of the film, there's no suspects, none of that. You just see these 3 people turn up in masks. And there's no hint as to who they could be. You've got no idea who they are. There's certain shots where you can only see them sort of like from here down. So that was very weird. And especially in the first one, at the very end of that one, the masks did actually come off, but you never saw above here. So I think that's pretty cool. That's a new, unique aspect to horror, I think, is when you don't really see the villains that much, and it's all about the camera positioning. I think Madeleine Pesch, she did a very good job as our main female lead, and her partner as well. I don't know the actor's name, I do apologise. He did a very good job in this. I think I like the couple a bit more in this one than I do the first one. But overall, it was actually a pretty decent film. I'm glad I've watched it. I will say I'm glad I've watched it on streaming though, because I don't know how much more I would have enjoyed it on the big screen. Because I know this came out, I think it came out on the big screen in the UK. I'm not really sure. I think it may have had a limited release. Would I say I'm excited for Chapter 2? Not so much. I'll still watch it just because it's that fact of this is now another horror franchise that I would watch again at some point. But when the second one does come out, which I believe is next year? I think it's next year. I think it was supposed to be Chapter 1 and 2 this year and then 3 next year, but I think they've had to move stuff about, I believe. But I will go and watch the second one just out of sheer curiosity. And I'm glad I watched this film. It's one of those horror films that's slightly different. I will say it's a bit slow paced for me as well. Whether that's because that's the way it's supposed to... Well, it's obviously that's the way it's supposed to be. But for me, I'm more of a fast paced kind of person. Or at least when it's going slow paced, I expect a bit more from it. It's weird to explain. I can't explain things. I'm very bad at them. But no, overall, I'm glad I've watched this film. But at the same time, I'm not overly hyped to see the second one. So my final score for this film is similar to the first one, which is a 6.5 out of 10. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, then do give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, then go ahead, hit that subscribe button and also notification bell down below to be notified when I post. And also leave me your comments and thoughts on The Strangers Chapter 1. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? What do you think of the Stranger films overall? Let me know in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys next time.